Good afternoon, guys. This is Working come to you on July 3rd, a Tuesday afternoon. Hope you guys are doing well. I've got BTC USD pairing up on Coinbase. Obviously, we're looking at Bitcoin. Bitcoin did just break out of this nice rising wedge that we had here. You guys can see it formed a nice rising wedge, textbook rising wedge, came back down, wicked down to right around about 6535 or thereabouts, came back up, and now it's just kind of consolidating at this point. So the question is, are we going to be heading up or are we going to be heading down? We've got a nice resistance area in there, excuse me, a nice support zone in this area right around 6450 or thereabouts. If it does break to the downside, I would expect a nice reaction right in this area. If we do break to the upside, I would expect to see some nice resistance between 6750 and 6800, somewhere thereabouts. These are the two support and resistance areas that I'm looking at. If for some reason it does break a little bit more bearish and we are able to break below the 6450 support or thereabouts, then I'm expecting to find some support. There is a lot. There was a nice little demand zone right in this area here, so I would expect to get a reaction right around 6300 or thereabouts, even higher than that. So I wouldn't expect it to go below 6300, at least not by more than a wick before it continued back up. So that's where I'm looking. I've even got actually a couple buy orders in case we get a little wick down in this area, because I do expect a strong reaction if in fact it does go down there. But for now, we're not there. We'll wait and see what happens. As far as my counts, guys, looking at this from an Elliott perspective, I know some of you guys don't like Elliott Wave. You hate Elliott Wave. In crypto, you know, it's more of a tool. And until this market goes more mainstream, that's all it is. But for now, you guys know my count yesterday. Let me just draw it out for you very quickly. Was a 1, 2, and coming up for the 3, I expected the 3 to go a little bit higher, somewhere around 6470, 68 or 6800, somewhere thereabouts. Coming up for the 3, 4, and then coming into a 5, expecting that 5th way to break through that resistance zone. Now, whether or not this is going to be the case, whether or not Bitcoin ends up playing out, I'm not sure. We're going to have to wait and see what happens, guys. Excuse me, but this is still very much on the table. It's certainly not implausible to see a nice little consolidation area right here. We could count this as for our subwaves of 3 as a 1, a 2. This would be a perfect subwave 3 to a 4, and then up to complete the sub-5th wave of the larger 3rd wave in this area. So this is still very much in play, guys. Another thing that I want to be looking at that I want to make you guys aware of, it is still possible that we do have a shortened wave 3 coming down for a 4 and then a 5. Now, if this is the case, if this is in fact the case, guys, this wave 4 cannot retrace into wave 1 by more than a wick. It hasn't retraced at all into wave 1 territory, at least not yet. So this is still a valid count. If we do, though, get this case, this is an accurate count, and this is an accurate scenario, and this is not my primary by any means. I just want to show you a possible count. This would be accurate. The only problem with this is wave 3 cannot be the shortest. It doesn't have to be the longest, even though it often is the longest. Wave 3 does not have to be the longest, but it cannot be the shortest. We had a nice extended wave 1. Wave 2 is obviously shorter, or excuse me, wave 3 is obviously shorter than wave 1. So wave 5 is going to have to be shorter than wave 3, because wave 3 cannot be the shortest wave. So if this is in fact the count, we're going to get a shortened wave 5, which this is Bitcoin. We often get a shortened wave 5. So that's still a possibility, something to keep an eye on, guys. We're going to have to wait and see what happens. That's not my primary, but I just wanted to show you. I think this other count that I was telling you, something like this, is much more probable. That looks much more probable to me, but we're going to have to wait and see what happens. The other count that I want to show you guys is something that I had on the table a few days ago. I didn't take it off the table. I told you it was still possible. However, it's looking more probable now. So I want to make sure you guys, I want to just go ahead and remind you of what it was. My count that I had a few days ago was a 1, a 2, sorry about that, guys, 2 coming down all the way to here. Now, remember, wave 2 can extend all the way, or can retrace all the way up to 99.9% of the beginning of wave 1. This was right around 99% or so. This went down to about 5790. Wave 1's starting point was 5777. So we've got about a $13 leeway. However, that is still very technical, and that is still a plausible count. I'm going to show you why I think this is a more plausible count right now. And to show you, if this is in fact the case, this would be a wave 3, this would be a wave 4 down here, and this would be the top of wave 5. not the prettiest looking, but let me show you why I think this is more probable than I did before. The reason is, guys, this would if we have in fact seen the bottom, and I'm not convinced that we have, but if we have seen the bottom and we are currently uptrending, this is a longer term uptrend, as everybody is hoping that it is. What often happens when we have a trend change, when we have a reversal of when we went from a bearish downtrend for so long, switching to an uptrend, what often happens? Well, what often happens is we get what is called let me show you, see if you guys can figure this out for all of you Elliott wave enthusiasts out there. What does this look like to you? Just draw it real quick, guys. This looks to me like a very plausible, there we go, a very plausible leading diagonal. Okay, what is a leading diagonal? Well, a leading diagonal usually happens in the first wave. It oftentimes happens after a trend change. Remember, this is a first wave. These 5 waves are a subwave of a larger wave 1. Just to draw it real quickly out for you here, this is a larger wave 1. That's going to go something like this. I'm just kind of drawing out, but a larger wave 1 is going to go something like this. Obviously, this is inaccurate, but you guys get the idea. All of this is a larger wave 1. This is a leading diagonal, possibly a leading diagonal. I'm going to get rid of this, guys, just so it's not cluttering it up. You know, this would, if this is in fact an uptrend, guys, as I said, this is very, very plausible. Why am I saying this is plausible? Well, if you can see wave 3 down to wave 4 here, wave 4 retraces into wave 1 by more than a wick. So how is that possible? Well, on a leading diagonal, that is allowed, according to Elliott wave, and it happens all the time. In fact, that is a hallmark of a leading diagonal, is wave 4 retracing into wave 1 territory. And it certainly is allowed. It's a textbook move. It's often seen on trend reversals, and if this is in fact a trend reversal, guys, it would make perfect sense that we've got a leading diagonal, and it would make perfect sense that wave 4 would retrace into wave 1 territory. So let's see what happens. Let's see if if that is in fact the case. We're going to know here probably in about 8 hours or so when we see how Bitcoin reacts. Is it going to continue up with the wave 3 I talked about at the beginning, or are we going to topple over? If this is in fact a leading diagonal, I would expect something like this, maybe an A, B, and then coming down for a C to test this bottom support zone of about 6300. That's why I've got buy orders in down here, guys, and then continuing up. You know, let's see. I'm not sure that's going to be the case. If it is more bearish, we may even see something like this. We may see something like an A, a B, and we could even see it come down here for a C wave. That's possible too, guys. Or we could get a flat, you know, could something like this. We'll wait and see. We'll wait and see what happens. I just want to give you guys the scenario. We're going to be looking at this little support line right here. Wait and see if that holds true, or if we break past it. If we break past it, we'll know in fact this was a leading diagonal, and we can expect an ABC correction. So we're just going to have to wait and see. My primary for an ABC would be something like this, and then continuing continuing for the upside for another 5 waves up. So these are just my thoughts, my quick thoughts on Bitcoin, guys. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Questions, criticisms, suggestions, I take them all, guys. Until next time, please make sure you're trading safe. Please make sure you don't trade any more than you can afford to lose. If you did like this content, I would certainly appreciate an upvote or a re-steam. And until next time, guys, be safe. This is Workin signing out. Take care.